girl. Hey.
Hey, Charm.
Hey, Mama Joyce.
How you doing? I'm doing fantastic.
Wonderful. We are back for episode 1. Back from what? Those bonus episodes y'all saw.
I hope they enjoyed them.
Okay. We were trying to show our authentic selves.
Absolutely.
Help them get to know more about us, about the show.
Yes. And that was one of the things we talked about earlier, was that we wanted to be authentic.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So this is episode 1. It's official. We're excited.
Yes.
Yes.
See my eyes?
Our YouTube fans. Okay. The YouTube girlies, they can see your eyes.
Yes, that's right. Forgot about that.
And for those of you who are listening on audio, hopefully you can hear our excitement. It's episode 1. And today we're talking about building covenant communities.
Yeah.
Building covenant communities is so important. As you know, the Heart of Naomi is absolutely a spinoff from the book of Ruth. And I think when we talk about covenant, we cannot not talk about the moment in the text where Ruth gave everything. The girl gave everything.
Everything.
She said, sis said, where you go, I'll go.
Where you stay, I stay.
Yeah.
Your God will be my God.
Wow.
And your people will be my people. Where you're
buried,
I will be buried.
Wow.
Where you die, I will die. And if I do not keep this vow, what did she say?
She said, may God deal with me.
Absolutely. Now that's a vow.
That's deep.
That's very deep.
That's deep. But I think, not a but, and I think that it took their relationship to another place.
Without question.
Yeah.
And I close my eyes because I feel that.
Yeah.
The point of women coming together and their relationships going to another level. That's earth shaking to me.
I think when women come together like that, there's nothing that they can't become together.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or overcome.
All the things. Yeah. So let's talk about that today.
Okay.
We're going to talk about that kind of relationship. Is that even possible today? What does it look like? What does it even mean for your God to be my God? What does that even look like? What does that look like, that where you go, I will go? You know?
That has a level of commitment to it. You know, to say something like that, I am committing myself to you and I'm taking on your life, your lifestyle, your beliefs, your future. I'm in that. You know, and that's just very powerful words to say to anybody.
It sounds selfless to me.
I agree.
It sounds like I'm willing to shed what I think I know, who I am, where I even want to go or where I thought I wanted to go for you, you know? And
let me say on that note, and I won't let fear deter me of the unknown, because often we don't go where we could go because of fear.
That's true.
The what ifs.
And there are no guarantees, right? I think in this life, when I think about how I set goals or what I think about my future, I'm thinking about, this is a guarantee to happen. You know, we're manifesting everything in this age. We like, I see it, I feel it, I'm visualizing it, it's going to happen. But in these kinds of relationships, this covenant relationship, you don't really know what's going to happen.
Yes,
right?
You don't.
But I think Ruth was able to give herself to that kind of relationship because she had some time to watch Naomi.
That's what I was thinking in my mind too.
Yeah.
It didn't just come out of the clear blue. You know, she didn't just pull that down from out of the sky. She'd seen something. She saw something modeled. She heard something. there was something that went beyond just words, and it was something that went in her spirit.
Yeah.
That's the way I would say that. And there was a conviction.
That's good. Yeah.
It was a conviction that, there's something there with this individual, and I can trust myself to them.
That's good. So we're talking about covenant relationships. We talked about what Ruth and Naomi's relationship looked like, and what verbally, that covenant moment was. But we haven't said what covenant is. So what is covenant from your perspective?
I would say another word, synonyms for covenant is a vow or promise, a commitment. And it's something that you don't take lightly, but you are not just saying it, but you're going to put the actions behind it as well. You're in it for the long haul.
I think I would say that too. When I think about covenant, I think about marriage, right? And I think about like together, like you literally become intertwined with a person.
I like that.
And I also think afraid. I think you said that earlier, because it's a huge commitment. It's a huge commitment to, in this case, we're talking about mentorship. We're talking about how women work together in partnership. And I think that it can also induce some fear. But let's just talk about what covenant relationship has looked like in your life as it relates to another woman, and why you think it's important that we intentionally build, covenant relationship.
Yeah, I'm a very big proponent of mentoring. I think it's just invaluable in the life of women. I think it's necessary. I don't really think it's an option. And I think that when we don't do it and we don't avail ourselves to it, that we miss out, and we do not. And I've said this before, it sounds like I'm repeating myself. We do not maximize our potential. It's there to be utilized. It's needful. We can do it. You don't have to go to school or have a certain amount of money. Every woman can mentor. Every woman can be taught, And so I think that is one thing when we talk about these covenant communities. But I think covenant community is a broader sense that bring women together. And it was said earlier, where they are respected, they are honored, they are served, and they're also invested in. We talk about investment, as far as money is concerned in stocks and bonds, but I believe, and I say it often, if anybody's around me, they hear me say that the best investment is people.
Yeah.
It's people.
It's definitely something that you have taught me, you have said, I have seen the fruit of that.
Yeah.
I have seen the return on your investment. I just want y'all to know that Mama Joyce, she don't want for nothing. Okay? When I say nothing, and she, jokingly, she might say, I'm a widow woman, and we'll talk about that later. But honestly, I've seen, I've been able to see on hand the return on your investment in people. I think that some people would measure the return in like how many stocks you have, or, all these kinds of things. But I get to see the impact that you made when you're involved in covenant relationship. I think about not just with women either, with men. I look at your son, who's pastoring a very strong, vibrant church and impacting so many thousands of people a week. That's not just his impact. That's the fruit of your impact as well, of your investment. Literally, I joke about it, but she doesn't want for anything. Like, we take care of her. If she wants something, we try to make it happen.
This is true.
And it's because listen, y'all, 12 o'clock at night, I used to be on the phone like, and then this is what happened. And I'd be like, do you hear me, Ma? And she'd be like, yes, I hear you. But that mattered. That mattered to me that you would hear me.
And then I would go to sleep.
And then you would go to sleep.
And then you would say, you remember last night when I said so-and-so? But it sounded like you were really quiet. And I would eventually say I was because I fell asleep. I was tired. I would try to be there for it. So that is so important. Investments pay off. That's the whole thing about investment.
Yeah.
And you are not, again, necessarily looking for it in monetary. But when you serve, that's an investment.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes people don't associate the two.
That's true.
Yeah.
Serving is a seed.
Serving is a seed.
That's good.
And it comes up. Whatever you plant, put down. If you take care of it, it comes up.
Yeah.
So I think if there's anything I would want for women is that we would form more communities of commitment, communities where we would come together. And there are different age groups in the communities. And there is, by older women, by nature, by age, they mentor because they've been through some things. They've been here for a while, so they can tell others this is what's going to happen. So they have that role. And the younger women have the strength. They have the quickness. They have that learning edge that would even save older women time and money. And so we can come together and help one another.
Hello. Listen, we have something exciting to share. Very exciting. We're excited. Okay, you guys, we're having a retreat. It's one of our favorite things to do, to come away, to be refreshed, to enjoy one another's company, to meet with God,
and to encourage one another as well.
Yeah, we want to give you a taste of that. So listen, do us a favor, click the link in the show notes. Let us know that you want to be a part. We can't wait to spend time with you.
You don't want to miss this. Trust me, you don't want to miss this.
Amazing things happen on retreat. Can't wait to see.
I was going to say, I think we gain so much wisdom.
Exactly. That's true too.
We don't have to make so many mistakes because I can ask you. I think one of the things I appreciate about our relationship, and I think that the benefit of cultivating a relationship with an older woman or a Naomi is I can literally ask you anything about anything that I want. And even if you gasp on the other side, I don't hear it. Like, it feels very non-judgmental. And it's very likely that you are going to have an answer. And it might not be that you answer me, right? It might be that you're like, here's what I think, but you need to ask God about it. Or what do you think? Because you know what I mean?
Has anything come to your mind in particular when you talk about that?
Like something I ask you? What did I ask you the other day? I can't remember now that you're asking me on this.
On the spot. Okay. Not to put you on the spot. I was just wondering, was there a story or something that came to your mind?
Go ahead.
Yes. But this comes to my mind before you got married. And you were, thinking about getting married, and it was this young man you were interested in, and you were just asking questions about him. And what do you think? And I said, you want somebody that has some of the same thoughts that you have, some of the same likes that you have. Not everything, but and someone that loves the Lord like you do. And I said, so what is his faith like? Does he believe in God? What is that foundation? And you would tell me what he does. And I said, okay, so is he going anywhere?
You said, bring him.
Bring him.
So I can put my eyes on him and really see.
And he did come and wound up coming to Bible study and just showed it was more than just getting you. He saw that there was something that he wanted, but then he saw even more than that. There was a value there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to that, I think when we talk about building covenant community, I think the benefit of that is that there's safety in that covenant community. There is another set of eyes. Because we know in that situation, love can be blinding. Okay. So I could have very much been in love with, I don't even want to say the man's name, but hopefully y'all remember when this episode came out, wasn't too long ago. Y'all know Legion, I'm just saying, it could have been my man, that was a little off.
Yeah. And so there were things that we were asking of him. Yeah. Because we wanted him to know that you were part of a community, and he was just not coming into the community, bringing you out, and nobody cared. Mm-hmm. So when he did come to pick you up even one night, there were several of us older women that were there at the house.
Yo, you said it so nicely, like it was just at the house. No. Well, I was full grown. I was like 20. I think I was 24, going out on a date. And I'm like, hey, Mom, going out on a date. She like, no problem. Listen, y'all, the man had to come to the door.
Absolutely.
Okay. He had to greet everybody in the house.
Absolutely.
Take me out. What time you coming back? And when I left, they was peeping out the window. All of them.
Oh, no, we didn't peep out. We took the curtain and pulled it back. And stood in the window.
And waited.
Because we wanted to see. And we wanted him to see us. That if you are serious about her, know that she has people watching over her.
I just want y'all to know I was full grown.
And that's what a community should do.
This is true. It was a little embarrassing at the time.
It probably was, but did you? Did it?
But then I whipped it. And then I slapped down my speed card. Like, don't forget my people was outside watching you.
Exactly.
Don't play with me.
Don't play.
Slap down my speed card.
We are fiercely devoted in covenant communities. Yeah. We're devoted to each other's well-being, whether it is financially, whether it's mentally, whether it's emotionally. We want to know how you are, and we are there to help you do the best that you can.
And both ways.
In both ways.
Both ways. I think I would say, I'm fiercely devoted to what you have said you want to see in your lifetime.
Yes, ma'am. That's one of the reasons why we're doing this podcast.
Yes. Even absolutely. I will say it over and over again. I will be like, hey, I'll come back around. Even though if you be like, listen, not right now. I'll come back around. Like, you ready?
Yes.
Yeah. Because I'm fiercely devoted to you and helping you see in real time what you said you wanted to see, because I think that that's the least I can do. Mm-hmm. And maybe that's how Ruth felt, is that's the least I could do, is to go with you the distance, because you've been so kind to me. Even in a crazy situation, where they lost everything. And I feel like that's what you gain. We talk about ride or die.
Yeah.
Like, you gain a ride or die. You gain I don't want to use the word, but you gain a covenant sister, you know?
You really do. Yeah. And that's foreign. I think that's foreign in our time. We don't really know that, we have these relationships, but they're somewhat superficial, or we don't trust one another. Mm-hmm. And there are things that happen that people are hurt, really, and they just don't trust another individual. But I believe God has people here that we can trust and who really do care. And if we can foster these communities, it will change our communities.
Yeah, I believe so.
Change the communities that we live in. One community changes another community, changes the world around. So it's not just where we live. This is going to be around the world. That's what I see.
Yeah. One of the things you said is covenant relationship was a characteristic of that is serving. When you look at the women around you, do you think that, how do you think they perceive serving? What have you seen?
I think that it hasn't been taught. It hasn't been introduced properly. It hasn't been something that has been explained? And how can someone benefit from something that you don't introduce to them?
Mm-hmm.
It's more than about serving. Again, it is about investing. It is enriching the community in which you live.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody has a role. And at some point in time, we all are serving. The older are serving the young, and the young are serving the old. And I think another way to look at it is that we have a responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like something that's considered an option. Well, I'll if I have time. That's not even the question. The question is that you do. The answer is that you do. And we find ways for you to do that. When I was a young woman, and my mother would go see the sick often, and she would take me with her. And she would tell me, you go in the room, you do what I do. And you watch, you listen. And if I wash my hands when I come out, you wash your hands. You watch and do. And so I saw that it was important to serve. Sometimes then we leave a portion of our congregation to make it any way they can.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know how they're making it. And it's not that they're ready now to just go somewhere and just become immobile. It's that no one is reaching out and pulling them close and allowing them to be a part of a community that's vibrant and lively and wholesome.
It's our responsibility.
It's a responsibility.
And I don't think I knew that until we talked about a little bit about how you pulled me in, right? Mm-hmm. And it wasn't like, I'm going to pull you in and mentor you. Like we had this established, titled relationship. It was, I'm going to pull you in and give you a responsibility. Mm-hmm. And that responsibility radically changed, I think, my life. And is constantly changing my life because I go back to a lot of the lessons that I learned. I think I am who I am because of those lessons. And for the women that are listening, I think what we're saying is covenant community, serving older, wiser women, being intentional about cultivating relationship, whether it's inside of a faith community or outside of a faith community. I'm intentional about that. Mm-hmm. I'm working on a research project right now with an older woman, and I love it because we're not just working on the research project. We're also, I'm asking her, how did you navigate this at work? How did you, get this raise? How did you, I'm just I'm going to suck up all the experiences and wisdom, but I don't know that my peers are as intentional about that. And so that's one of the reasons why having this conversation publicly, because
so important.
Listen,
it's like gold's over here. Hey, everybody, gold's over here.
Yes.
And when was that, in the 49ers or something? People were running looking for gold. Didn't know they would really get any, but what we're saying is gold is here and you will get the gold.
And you will get it.
And it should start young.
Yeah.
You bring everybody in young. And yes.
I was going to say, and if you haven't found a woman to serve,
yes,
I'm sure, I hope that you can look around. If you're listening, if you're watching, I hope that you can look around and find a woman, even if she's not significantly older than you, because sometimes that happens too. Maybe she just has advanced experience in another area in her life. Maybe she doesn't pull you in and say, hey, I got something for you to do. But maybe you can go to her and say, how can I help you?
Yes.
How can I serve you? And I wanted to make sure that we did this before we ended this episode. It is the month of March while we are recording this episode. And just a few days ago, your mother had a birthday.
Yes, she did.
And she is no longer here with us. But I think she would be tickled that we are doing this together.
Absolutely.
And so
absolutely.
I think right on the spot, we'll do this episode in honor of her.
I agree.
And it's Women's History Month.
It's Women's History Month. And she was a champion of women.
Yeah.
And I always saw it. Something that comes to my mind real quick. is that she had two friends that worked most of their life and raised children. One of them, their husband died or either left, I can't remember, and she was getting ready to retire. She didn't have anybody there to make over her, about the retirement or anything. And I saw my mother pull together a retirement party for her. And it wasn't at this lavish place, but we had an area in our church. It was a dining area, and she had us all working at it, pulling things together and putting together a retirement, party for her. This woman never expected that. They were friends. She just felt that she was going to retire. And that stuck in my mind. When you have these covenant communities like that, it causes you to see beyond just the surface and see the needs as well. Mm-hmm. Who would think?
Who would think? So no matter how much you have or how little you have, covenant, we can do this covenant community building together.
Together. It has to be done.
Has to be done.
It needs to be done.
Well, that's episode 1, guys. Build covenant community. You got to do it.
You got to do it.
Listen, do us a favor, subscribe to this podcast, leave us a 5-star review, and we can't wait to see you in episode 2.